It's a Sunday morning. Yes, it sounds good. Nice and resonant. Okay, I'll leave it on.
Good morning. I'm Diana Browning. I'm your practitioner today. And welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, where we embrace all faiths, all cultures, and all orientations. If this is your first time here, I offer you a special welcome, and there will be a special acknowledgement of you later on in the service. So we like to begin our service with repeating our vision and mission statement. And so it should be, I'm sorry? Oh, pardon me.
Do that.
Sky Nelson is going to do a song for us first.
Perfect. Can I hear everyone say one word? Yes. That's what we're going to start with this morning, saying yes. Yes, I'm going to say yes. I don't know where we're going, but I trust this. Yes, I'm going to say yes. Abundantly, I know that we will manifest. One more time. Yes, I'm gonna say yes. I don't know where we're going, but I trust this. Yes, I'm gonna say yes. Abundantly, I know that we will manifest. Up a notch. Yes, I'm gonna say yes. I don't know where we're going, but I trust this. Yes, I'm gonna say yes. Abundantly, I know that we will manifest. Yes, I'm gonna say yes. I don't know where we're going, but I trust this. Yes, we're gonna say yes. Abundantly, I know that we will manifest. Abundantly, I know that we will manifest. Abundantly, I know that we will manifest.
Sky. Welcome. Yeah, thank you. So we like to start our service with our mission statement. And so we will say this together, I think. There we are. We are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. And our mission statement: we are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. So you've heard this wonderful Sky Nelson, and I'll give you an introductory to him. Karen Drucker was to be here today, but she was at an event and she was exposed to COVID and didn't want to chance bringing it to our community. So she invited Sky to be here instead, and I think you're going to be blown away by him. He's really wonderful. Listen to about what I have to say about him. He's a theoretical physicist, speaker, author, lifelong musician. He has a master's degree in physics. And he's a childhood student of Swami Satchidananda. Is that cool? Okay, thanks. All right. So the experiential study of conscious awareness has always been a strong passion for Nelson Isaacs. His background as an educator, scientist, software programmer, and speaker, led him to found the Synchronicity Institute to educate, inspire, and train a new generation of geek monks. How about that? Pretty cool. I love it. So he has a new book called Leap into Wholeness, and it's how the world is programmed to help us heal, grow, and adapt. And so you'll find all of these wonderful materials out in the back after service. So I have just a couple of announcements before we.
One quick announcement. We left a copy of each book in the library for you, so you can come back this week or next week and just take it for free if you'd like.
Oh, all right. Thank you. That's very generous. So we have new classes starting in August, so stay tuned for that. And we're going back to optional name tags. So if you would like a new name tag, just let Mary know and give her new contact information, and we'll update that for you. And if you have anything else about the questions about the church, just call the office. We'll be glad to help you. So now we begin the sacred part of our service as I open us into prayer. So if you feel comfortable, close your eyes or relax your gaze and just know that Spirit is right here with us now. Allow your seat to present you in this room. Allow your spirit to open to all the words and songs that will be shared with you today. I just know that this time together is blessed, and that we are truly blessed to be able to experience it together. And so let's take a moment for silence, knowing and allowing ourselves to open to the Spirit that is with us. And so coming back into this room, into our bodies and our minds and our spirits, I bless each and every one of you and thank you for being here today. And I turn the service over to Sky now. Thank you.
This song came out of a dream in which the world was being inundated by waves from the ocean. And yet from that calamity, there was this sense among humanity of connectedness. Like we're all in this together. And it made me feel like the world ocean is welcoming us into community. And from that dream came the line like this, which you can sing along. I am falling live into the world ocean. I am falling live into the world ocean. Falling, falling live. Falling, falling live. Again. I am falling live into the world ocean. I am falling live into the world ocean. Falling, falling live. Falling, falling live. So here's the verse. The ocean's our mother and everything is our friend. Alone we are lost, together our lives will transcend. We give ourselves up to the forces that bring us this change. Falling, falling life. Chorus. I am falling live into the world ocean. I am falling live into the world ocean. Falling, falling live. Falling, falling light. We are the light of the world, and I know we won't fail. The power within us is more than the power out there. There's more than enough to go around if we're willing to share it. Falling, falling light. I am falling light into the world ocean. I am falling light into the world ocean. Falling, falling light. Falling, falling light. Fallen, fallen live. Falling, falling live. Again. Falling, falling live. Keep that going. Falling, falling light. Falling, falling light. Yeah. Falling, falling light. Falling, falling light. Falling, falling light. Last time. Falling, falling light. That was so lovely. Thank you for joining me on that. And this next song is a reminder of how much we need each other. And sometimes we forget. We don't treat each other the way we want to, ideally. And it's a reminder that the most thing that I want for you is to support you on your journey. That's Yes. Recognize that? That was not the right song. There we go. I'm sorry. The words that I said were not kind. I argued and troubled your mind, with nothing to gain but a long way to descend. I'm sorry. Rather than cling to my side, I'll find where luxury hides. There's so much to gain and so little to lose. Friends we are, and friends take time to unfold. But I'm not gonna leave, 'cause building you up is all I wanna do. Earning your trust is how I learn from you. We've got the strength to see it through. Building you up is all I wanna do. I'm sorry. It's scary to me to be wrong. So I fight back and hope that I've won. Nothing to gain but a long path to defend. Friends we are, and friends take time to unfold. But I'm not gonna leave, 'cause building you up is all I wanna do. Earning your trust is how I learn from you. We've got the strength to see it through. Building you up is all I wanna do. I want to feel my love for you. 'Cause building you up is all I wanna do. Earning your trust is how I learn from you. We've got the strength to see it through. Building you up is all I wanna do. Building you up is all I want to do. Thank you. That's for after. It's good. And I hear myself. Fantastic. It's all coming together. Thank you so much for coming this morning. My name is Sky Nelson Isaacs. And I want to share with you today about You and Me Create Society, the science of wholeness. Because wholeness is this thing that we can actually study in science. That's what I make my part of my living doing, is publishing papers on the science of wholeness. Believe it or not, that's a real thing. Because it's surprising because we live in this world where we feel separate from each other. How many of you feel like some sense of separation from some people in your life, right? Even just in this room, we've got separation between us, and we don't know each other that well or infinitely well. There's always some level of disconnection. And the question that I ask in my science work is there a way in which we're all connected? And in my personal life, how can I feel more connected? Does that resonate for any of you? So I want to start with a question, sort of a riddle. The old train left the station. The old train left the station. What do you picture? A locomotive that's been around for a long time leaving the train station, right? Okay, how about this? Different sentence. The old train the young. The old train the young. So now, what do you picture? an elder teaching their grandchild. The old train the young. So by saying the old train the young and ending the sentence that way, I've changed the meaning of the whole beginning of the sentence. The word train now means to educate. It's not a locomotive. And the word old is no longer the age of the train, but it refers to an elder in our community. So the end of the sentence in English language affects the beginning. And the meaning of the sentence has to do with the whole, not just the parts. You follow me? So what we do at the end of a journey matters as much as what we do at the beginning. It allows the whole sentence to fall into place in its meaning based upon our choices at the end of our journey. This is the essence of wholeness. It's not just a bunch of disconnected steps along our path, but an integrated whole in which we're all, not only are we all playing a part, but every part of our lives from the beginning to the end is playing a part. We're on a journey through life that holds together as a whole. That's what I want to talk about today. Do you want to switch over to the slides that we have prepared? Totally fine. I just realized I hadn't referred to them, so I looked up. So let me tell you a story about, well, that way we won't be distracted. I'll just wait. No, it's fantastic. The team showed up today and did a fantastic job getting us together. And can I celebrate you for a minute, Shauna? Shauna's grandchild came this week, so she's going to meet her grandchild this week, I think. Perfect. Great. Young girl, and her name is Penelope Jane. Her daughter's coming home from the hospital today, so congratulations. Showing up anyway.
I'm sort of here.
Flying high. Well, there's this great quote in the book Contact, in the movie with Jodie Foster. Has anybody seen that? Okay. There's this alien consciousness that's guiding her through the cosmos to essentially educate humanity on how to live in the future, peacefully and happily. And the consciousness is talking to Jodie and saying, in all of our travels, the only thing we've found that makes the emptiness bearable is each other. That really strikes me because sometimes I have conflicts with people in my life, or I feel afraid of people, or I feel angry at them, or uncertain in my relationships, right? And I forget that it's the people in my life, the connections, that make life bearable or wonderful. Because there's this vast emptiness that we'll see some of today with the new James Webb Telescope. We have these vast pictures of the cosmos, right? So it's vast and huge, and yet everything that has ever really mattered to us is happening on this little blue marble right here with the people that we know. So I want to emphasize that connectedness today. I guess I have a clicker. Right. See if it works. That's fine. I'll just communicate with you. Okay, go for it. So here's something I learned when I was researching my second book, Leap to Wholeness. Loneliness or perceived isolation is associated with a 20 to 30% increase in mortality. Not just isolation, but perceived isolation, the feeling of being disconnected to others. It's not that we actually are. We're surrounded by people. We have neighbors, we have people at the restaurant, but we're not connected to them. We don't feel connected to them. And that really makes me curious. How do we feel more connected? I had an experience with this just recently that I wanted to share with you. I have some relationship with my stepfather that's pretty hard from when I was a child, and I was more vulnerable, and he was a powerful presence, and I was scared of him. And I'm doing some healing work on that, and it's actually really freeing and wonderful. And I found myself at a family gathering with him just a couple days ago, and it was just him and my sister. Surprisingly, no one else showed up. So I was a little bit like, shell-shocked. I'm not ready to like confront this with you. In fact, there's nothing to confront. I'm just feeling like I need to protect myself a little bit. And I was kind of shut down. And my sister noticed, and he noticed. And it's unlike me to be like not talkative and not sharing. And we had brought some instruments. So my sister reached over to me and said, "Is there anything I can do to help? And can I give you a hug?" So she reached over and I reached back and I leaned into that hug. And that was the first moment of choosing to be connected, even if I couldn't be fully present. I just looked for what's the first way right now that I can connect and feel like I'm part of a bigger circle than just my little circle of influence. Connecting with my sister. And we started to sing. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Yeah, so we sang that. And immediately, can you feel it already in the room? You feel a little bit more connected. So I was gradually getting more present. And then my brother and my sister-in-law showed up, and the circle was now 5 of us. And I felt like I could either go through the whole afternoon and not say anything and just stay sort of quiet and shut down, or I can shift my mindset. And here's the key strategy that I figured out in that moment. Instead of thinking like I'm here and he's there and my sister's here and my brother's here, we're separate, I thought of us as a whole circle, as one space, not a bunch of different spaces. One space in which we were all connected. And I did that in my mind by remembering that these people loved me. These people cared about me. They had my best interest at heart. Even my father, my stepdad, who's, I've got a history with, he loves me and cares about me right now. And I do for him as well. And that shift was really profound for me because it would be easy for me to sort of stay disconnected, but I shifted my mindset to be connected. And from that space, I was able to share what was going on for me. And I was able to say really succinctly, when you have an opinion, you have a really strong opinion. And sometimes you use a lot of force to push that opinion across, and I get scared. That was as simple as it was. It wasn't blamey. It was just the truth for how I experienced him. And he was able to hear that. And it felt like the circle got bigger to include all of us. And so because I made that shift to connection, I didn't know how to move forward with the conversation, but I was able to move forward with being more connected. I think that's what we can get from wholeness. When we see ourselves as part of a bigger whole, it really makes a difference in the way that we can deal with difficult situations and feel less, what was the word? Perceived isolation. Follow me? So let's talk about the cosmos. Next slide. Wholeness can transform society through a scientific understanding of our connectedness so we can have open conversations about polarization, privilege, equity, empowerment, justice, climate change, and a lot of other things. But as I illustrated, it's not about the conversation itself like the topic, it's about the connectedness. It's about open conversations. How do we listen to other people at a deep level? How do we stay present to what's going on for others, even if it's different from what's going on for us? Is that hard for any of you sometimes? Sure. Yeah, it's a very human condition, right? So let's look at the next slide. How many people have looked through the James Webb Telescope pictures? Pretty amazing, huh? It's like the Hubble telescope on steroids. So this is a nebula, which is a big ball of gas and dust. And if you want scale resolution, our whole solar system would be like a small part of that. This is just a huge, enormous wasteland of gas and dust. And it's actually a birthplace of new stars. Beautiful.
And I'm going to come back to this and show you something about the way we filter the universe to get our imagery of it. We'll come back to this, but next slide. This is the Stephan's, I think I'm remembering correctly, Stephan's quintet of 5 galaxies. And each of those galaxies you see in the foreground are about 4.5 billion light years away. So the light from those stars is 4.5 billion years old by the time it gets to us, right? It's traveled that far. So we're already looking across the wholeness of time. Time is not just this moment right now, but as we look out into space, we see a whole span of time all at once. And the stars in the background are not actually stars. What are they? Galaxies. Did you know? See your hand go up. Yeah. Do you know how far away those galaxies are? Any guess? How much? 13 billion. Actually, 12.5 billion light years. Because the age of the universe is thought to be around 13.5 billion. And those galaxies in the background, which are so far away they appear as points, are almost the entire age of the universe old. We're looking at the beginning of time in a way. So there's this very, very interesting question that you can ask if you give it any thought about how do we perceive of time not as just a moment, but as a stretch, as an expanse, as a whole. So for the next slide, if you will go to the next one, actually there's galaxies, more galaxies, just for your enjoyment. And they're stretched because some of them are the light's moving past other galaxies, which are bending those galaxies and causing them to distort like a lens. But those are all just, this is like the darkest part of the sky. They pointed at the darkest part of the sky and they let it sit and see what's there. And they see all these billions and billions of stars inside each galaxy. Amazing, huh? The vastness. In the vastness, the thing that makes us feel most connected is each other. One more. So I want to show you how this works scientifically. Light travels, and if you could just go maybe 2 seconds between the slides here. Light is traveling from the sun towards the Earth or from some galaxy towards the Earth. And you can see the light traveling across there. Like every billion years it travels farther. Or from the sun, it's 8 minutes only to the Earth. So that's an 8-minute journey we just saw. What you notice is that I drew it as if it's coming forward from the sun to the Earth a step at a time, moment by moment, as if there's a separation between us and the sun. And to cross that separation, you have to take one step and then another, and then another, and another, and another, from the beginning to the end. But remember what we said about the English language. The old train left the station. We don't process language from beginning to end. We process it as a whole, right? If you could go back 2 slides, right there. This is what it's like before anybody observes the light, okay? It's a bunch of possible paths it could have taken. Even light from the galaxies 4.5 billion light years away, it's traveled into many possible paths in all directions. It's not actual yet. If you've heard about science in the 20th century, it's all about the act of measurement and observation. This is where that comes in. When you measure the light by seeing it or capturing it with your telescope, at that point, one of those paths becomes definite. Which path becomes definite, do you think? The one that you observe, which in this case, because you're on Earth, right? It's the one that hits Earth. So go forward 1 slide. There we go. As a whole, that path became real. As a whole, not from beginning to end. But just like that English sentence, the old train left the station, the way we measure it at the end determines the entire path, the entire meaning of the journey. Does that make sense? So this is something we have to actually verify that space and time exist as a whole. Light unfolds as a whole. Those 8 minutes fall into place afterwards. And just as a side note, this is the way I think about synchronicity. Synchronicity is these possibilities unfolding in front of us that we can't see. And at the last minute, we make a choice to measure it, and it falls into place as a whole. That's how the world can present us with unexpected coincidences that match our needs and our wants and our intentions, even when we didn't plan on it. Because it's waiting for us to make our choices to decide how to unfold, how to fall into place. Does that picture make sense? Just like this light beam falls into place at the end. So wholeness is the essence and the source and the foundation of how I think synchronicity works. And it's also good guidance for how to be in relationship, like I described with my stepdad and putting myself in the bigger picture shoes. Let's go forward another slide. I want to talk about this slide with the nebula. So these two pictures are the same nebula. Can anybody guess what the difference is? Say that again. The filter. You know the names of the filters on the James Webb? Do you know? No. Okay. I just thought you might. One of them is the NIRCam. NIRCAM stands for near infrared camera. That's a wavelength of light, kind of like yellow or red. It's near infrared. And then the other one is MIRI, mid infrared. So they're both infrared cameras. Not that interesting, but they're different by a long way in terms of actual frequencies that they can capture. Right? You and I can see the sunlight because our eyes are tuned to that, but we can't see the X-rays, we can't see the infrared. And the bees can see ultraviolet, but we can't see that. So these cameras can see longer wavelengths than we can and turn it into pictures. And actually, one of them can see more detail and one of them can see better through clouds. That's kind of the difference. And so together, those two filters put together give you a better image, which has both the benefits of both. Does that make sense? We also have filters. We don't perceive the whole picture, right? We have conversations with people like me with my stepdad, where I have a certain perspective on what's happening. It's not the whole picture. It's not his perception. It's my perception. And so knowing that I've got a filter that's affecting my judgment is really important. Let's go forward another slide. So the way I model this with physics is, anybody here do graphic design with Adobe Photoshop? In the back, yes. Shauna. So you might know this is a little familiar for you. If you take a picture like the city there, which just represents reality, the physical room we're in, whatever, that's called the territory. That's what you're trying to model. You can do a transform of it called a Fourier transform, which is the most beautiful mathematics that I've ever found. It's so beautiful. It's the mathematics of music, mathematics of image processing. And what it does is it creates a map which doesn't look at all like the picture, but it encodes the picture, encodes the territory. And the things in the middle, the points in the middle, correspond to the low frequency changes in the picture. And the points around the outside correspond to the high detail changes in the picture. So what do you think is going to happen when I erase the outside frequencies? Go ahead and click forward. What do you think is going to happen? Who can say? I know it's a little hard to see. Distorted. Distorted in what way? Unfocused. Unfocused. Yeah, blurry. So what's happened is the edges, everywhere there's an edge, not just one building, but every building everywhere became blurry, because what it was looking for was not individual objects in space, but patterns in space. This is why filters are so powerful, because they don't just deal with space. Like if I apply a filter, it doesn't just apply to me, it also applies to the entire cosmos. These patterns that we do, especially like when we're making changes in our life as human beings, the patterns of behavior that we change, becoming more patient with ourselves, for instance, can affect everything we do, not just us, but everyone we meet, every interaction we have. Our whole life can change all at once through the changes that we make in our inside filters. Does that resonate for anybody? Well, let's look at another filter here. Go forward one more. Now we see really blurry, right? I've taken out the outside frequencies. I like to think of this as like, my filter this is called a low pass filter, where I remember and notice all the things that are connected at a very high level. So I can pick up my daughter, I tell my wife, I can pick up my daughter at at school, I can go to the dentist, I can get home and cook dinner all by 7 o'clock. She's like, no, you're going to have to stop at the store. In order to do that, it's going to take you 20 minutes to get from here to there. And don't forget to get the mail. And then it's going to be 9 o'clock by the time we eat. So why don't I cook dinner instead? You know, it's like I don't see all those details because I'm looking at this big blurry picture, how it's all connected. Similarly, I might be the kind of person that is in a group of people and I feel connected automatically. I don't notice the differences between us. I feel connection. That's a low pass filter. You're seeing the blurry overview. The next slide shows us the opposite of this, a high pass filter, where you're cutting out the middle and keeping the outside. What do you notice there? The outlines. It's an edge finder. It finds all the differences and distinctions. Are any of you the kind of person that looks for the differences and distinctions in things? Like in my example, that's kind of like my wife. She knows what's going to happen with a plan. She'll identify that's not going to work. Here's what we've got to do differently. So it's good that we match, right? Because with our two filters, we get a bigger picture of reality. Is this metaphor making sense for you? Okay. We can't not have a filter. And our filters can sometimes make us feel more separate or put up walls between us. I know for me, my pattern over my life is when I feel insecure, I'll put up a wall. I'll back away. I'll take some time apart. I might not share. And the learning for me with my particular filter is to step into connection, to just try to reach out instead of withdraw. I don't have to do it a certain way. I don't have to reach out to my stepdad and have a direct conversation with him, but I need to lean into my sister and get a hug, just so I can expand my filter, not retreat into it. I find that to be a really useful picture for what's going on for me in my journey of self-growth. One more slide. So coming back to wholeness, if we can't see the whole picture because we've got these filters, what is it that wholeness can provide us? What does wholeness even mean for us? And in the course of writing my book and teaching classes on this, these are some of the things that people said. Wholeness is equal access to opportunity to be all the things we want to be. Wholeness is restorative justice and healing trauma. Wholeness is reducing the shame we feel. Wholeness is the freedom to develop your resume instead of your curiosity. No, develop your curiosity instead of your resume. I bet you're all pretty good at developing your resume. Freedom is reaching for great achievements instead of just being consumers. Wholeness is accepting and incorporating all the parts of ourselves. And wholeness is accepting someone's story at face value. And this is what I was wanting from my stepdad. I wanted him to just hear what my experience was, not argue with it or have an opinion that he was forceful about. Because for me, that's scary, because when I was a kid, that was scary. And so having him see me in that space and not try to change it was healing and made me feel more whole, and also expanded my circle to include him. Rumi says, when you are with everyone but me, you are with no one. In other words, speaking to God, when you are with everyone else but not connected to God, you're really not with anybody. You're not connected. When you are with no one but me, you are with everyone. So when you start by being rooted and connected to God or to yourself, then when you show up, you are present with everybody. Instead of being so bound up with everyone, be everyone. Expand that circle that you define as you to include others so that it's a we. It's not just me and then you, but us together. It's a mental shift of perception. When you become that many, you are nothing. You are empty. I love that. And Rumi also says, this is going to be familiar to some of you, out between ideas of right doing and wrongdoing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. So we're looking for a framework, a mindset in which the differences between us do not make us feel separate, right? You can have a different political view, different view on how to parent, different view on what color looks good on your shirts, and still feel connected. I don't think we're ever going to change those differences between us. But if our filter only allows us to see the differences and not to see the connections, then we've got some distance to grow. To expand our filters so we can see both the differences and the connections and experience that wholeness. So one more slide here, and we transition into some music. Experiment with your lens. You can't get rid of it. You're always going to have a perspective on things, but see what it's like to live from somebody else's lens, or to just adjust your lens. Instead of assuming that the right thing to do is to not use plastic at the grocery store, let yourself use plastic one time and see how that feels, if that's what you need. It saves you time. I'm just speaking from experience. Because there's all sorts of things that we take for granted in our filter, and expanding our filter means doing things that are a little bit uncomfortable or go against our nature, sometimes. Ernest Holmes says, if we believe that it will not work, it really works by appearing to not work. A fear is nothing more nor less than the negative use of faith, a belief in two powers instead of one. And one way to see those two powers are the filters that make me feel separate from you. Like I am separate from you, good is separate from bad. Instead, look through that one whole filter, that wholeness picture, where these things are connected and they're part of one community, where the things I do affect you and the things you do affect me, but none of that brings us further apart, because we're able to communicate openly about the things that matter to us. That, I think, is the real power of wholeness. Thank you so much for coming this morning. I hope that lands for you. And I'd like to transition into some music. Thank you. Okay. Sounds like that's coming through. So there's one quote that I want to finish with by Krishnamurti. You familiar with Krishnamurti? He says, one learns the art of observing without any distortion, without any motive, without any purpose, just to observe. In that, there is tremendous beauty, because then there is no distortion. One sees things clearly as they are. At that moment, that is love, not the remembrance of it or the future hope for it. That state of mind, which is love, is really completely without time. When life has broke its promise, tears have stained your face, hopefulness has scattered, and worry takes its place. When your schoolwork is offensive, and your backpack is worn through, I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there for you. When I see you from the outside, I see who I want to be. And it's funny that you're thinking the same thing about me. When you need some reassurance from a gentle point of view, I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there for you. If it's a race that you're running and you're sure you've got to win, maybe you'll feel better if you let me in. The flowers in the window are only there because of you. And the path that I am walking is one you helped me choose. If you forget how far you've traveled, how much there is to lose, I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there for you. I'll be there, oh, I'll be there, I'll be there for you. Thank you.
Oh, and thank you again. That's perfect. Okay. All right. So now's the time where we share our abundance and with each other. And there's many ways that we share our abundance. We do that with tithing. We do that with work around the sanctuary, in the garden, with your time. And there's also, you can give online. And so I'd just like to take a moment here to look at the screen. This is where we can give online. And we're always giving in the community also from our center right here. So whatever you give goes out and gives again. So I just thank you very much. And if we would repeat this, let's do this, say this together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is. So please feel free to come up and give of your heart.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed,
I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Thank you. So I'd like to acknowledge you if you're here for the first time. If you're willing to raise your hand, we have a gift for you. And so we're so glad that you're willing to be with us here today. And something we always say to our new people and to each other is that we raise our hands and we say, "We bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community." And so it is. And let's see if I forget anything. So finally, we want to say in our community, and you can stand if you want. Stand up. This is a good thing to say standing up. All right. And I think it's maybe not up there. So you can repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. I am led by spirit. I am guided by wisdom. I am here to be a blessing. And so it is. And I have a great closing song here. I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. And I'm free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. All right. Thank you. So have a blessed week and meet Sky outside and see what he has to offer us. Thank you, Sky.
I feel like